Today we're prototyping a new video on this YouTube channel. We're going to be doing food reviews, and I wanted to start off with HEB. In case you're unfamiliar, this is a local Texas brand of grocery store that is extremely popular here. This one just opened up, and they have a higher end brand called Central Market that competes with Whole Foods. What they're really known for is they make their own brands of food, their own potato chips, their own ice cream, their own snacks, things like that. You know, it's sort of a local Texas brand that's very popular. So we want to get a whole bunch of those and see if they hold up. So we just got back from HEB, and while we were there, we bought 12 different kinds of HEB brand potato chips, some cookies, and accessory products that don't even fit in this already wide frame shot. And I wanted to say we were going to film more in HEB, but since it just opened, it was super busy, very crowded, pretty much impossible to film without filming a lot of strangers, and that's just rude. So we chose to respect people's privacy and keep that to a minimum. So without any further ado, J-Hub and I are going to dive into all of these foods and offer our opinions on if they're good or bad, and those opinions are probably going to be very different. And Boomy's already over here whining. Aw, you'll probably see him too. First up, we're going to be taking a look at the HEB brand nacho cheese flavored tortilla chips. These are going to be their nacho cheese Doritos knockoff, and very rarely do I ever enjoy off-brand Doritos. So we're going to dive right in and see if the HEB brand can hold up. Not liking this smell already. Yikes. Well, all the Doritos come out pretty big. They're not crushed. They've got a decent amount of cheese powder on there. If we can get a little close up super quick. It doesn't smell quite right. I'm gonna take a bite. Hopefully it tastes better than it smells. Okay, smells a little weird. That pretty much tastes like a Dorito. No, bad. Here, have Doritos. Boomy says the Doritos are fantastic. So far, I would eat these. They're not as good as name brand. They taste very slightly less nacho cheesy-ish, maybe very slightly stale. I think they cook these more, but I'd give these about an 8 out of 10. I really enjoy these.
I mean, they look like your standard Doritos tortilla chips, that's for sure. Question is, what do they taste like? Because I've gone through a lot of these before, and they usually all end up tasting the same, like you bought them from Dollar General. So let's find out if, they hold up or not, right? There's something off about it. It has a weird aftertaste. It has like that different altered chip as well.
He doesn't have any complaints.
Oh no, he'll eat them all. You would eat every chip on this table if he could. But yeah, it has the same similar flavor like a low-end chip would have. Like, it's clearly a knockoff. Chip is different quality, and the flavoring is a downgrade.
So what would you rate it out of 10?
Average at best, so 5 out of 10.
Next up is the HEB brand Ranch Doritos, or artificially flavored tortilla chips. The nacho cheese ones were, hey buddy, no, you can't have all the chips. The nacho cheese ones were surprisingly good, even if they didn't smell good. So I have high expectations here. Ooh, these smell very ranchy. Let's get a couple of them out, just kind of randomly. Put them down on a plate. Again, they come out pretty good shape, pretty good consistency, triangular tortilla chip. These smell like more ranchy, like there's more peppercorn in this ranch than a regular Dorito. These don't hold up. The nacho cheese ones were pretty good, but these guys are like, these guys are more like what you would expect from knockoff Doritos. They're pretty bad, actually. Yeah, I gotta admit, I had high hopes for the ranch ones at HEB, and they did not hold up at all. This is not a very good potato chip, but the nacho cheese ones are good.
All right, so moving on to the ranch, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So you thought it wasn't too good.
I did not.
I like ranch.
I like ranch too, so.
So some of my favorite ranch was the sunflower seeds, though. So I wonder how this holds on.
Makes this guy over here seem pretty good, right?
This is like suggestion of ranch flavor. It's like LaCroix water where it's like a flavor suggestion. So it's like if they called out, hey, ranch, you'd be like, oh, okay. That's what I'm tasting a little bit of. So, yeah, that's actually disappointing. That's like a 3 out of 10.
We're working our way through the HEB Doritos, and we finally arrived at a more Spanish flavor, Chile Limon. I assume it's supposed to be kind of like the spicy Doritos and or Takis knockoff flavor, but HEB Brand, so let's go ahead and open this up and see if it holds up. So far, the Doritos have been real boom or bust. Oh, I'm already liking the way these look. Yeah, these are covered. I'm gonna pull one of these guys. Yeah, same great shape and consistency. Absolutely covered in chili lime spices. I smell the lime, I don't smell the chili. I'm expecting a very big flavor profile here. That's good. That's what I want. I can smell the lime. I can taste the lime. The lime is a primary flavor. And the chili is a complement. It adds a little bit of heat after that sweet, sour lime flavor. I think these are great. Maybe a little bit more extra heat. This is an acquired flavor. It's not one that I eat a whole lot. But if you're into chili lime and spicy chips, this HEB brand holds up. Not as good as the regular Doritos, so I'll probably give this about a 7 out of 10. Have you ever had Takis or?
No, I've never had these. I don't think I've ever had this type of flavor, so I don't know what I'm expecting here. So it's not going to be a comparison gauge. It's going to be just a flavor gauge.
Go for it. You'll give it a first taste test. This dog wants stuff so bad.
If I were to describe the taste of this, you know those seasoning packs that come with your home taco kits? It tastes like that seasoning was put on chips.
Yeah.
So like the seasoning you dump into your beef.
I mean, that's kind of what it is. A little bit on the spicier side. So.
No, I mean, it tastes exactly like it, which...
So what would you rate it then?
It's a 5 out of 10. What I would do is make some nachos out of these, throw some ground beef, some cheese. That would make this really good. Like a dirty taco.
The last of the HEB Doritos today is Mexican street corn, or elotes flavor. It is a very popular treat all along the southern United States, especially in California. And as things go, things from California end up in Texas, so now it's a very popular flavor here in Texas. So we're gonna try this elotes flavor. What are you laughing at?
Corn-flavored corn chips.
It's sweet corn. It's a whole thing. You have to pay money for this. It's not a corn-flavored corn chip. It's an elotes flavored corn chip, and elotes is not Spanish for corn. Ooh, I can smell the sweet corn already. Again, the chips come out in good shape and quality. The dusting isn't as clear on these guys because it's kind of yellow, but I can smell that elote sweet corn flavor. Okay. Mixed feelings here. I'm not a big fan of elotes, so that might bias me a little bit. It has the elote flavor, the sweet corn. It is there, but I feel like I want a little bit more of it. I want a little bit more of that corn powder. It's lacking just a little bit. I think if they up that like sweet corn flavoring on a corn chip, that maybe 25%, it would be a much better chip. But for now, me personally, I'm gonna give these guys about a 6 out of 10.
So would you say they're not that amazing?
Yeah,
so corn-flavored corn chips.
So let me know what you think about corn-flavored corn chips.
I expect them to taste like a corn chip.
That can't be good. That can't be good.
It tastes like you made corn on the cob at home and dumped it in butter. That's what it tastes like. Literally. You boiled some corn and then just took butter and went, whoa.
Yeah, it's butter corn. You've actually described exactly what that popular flavor is. Congratulations.
I'd rather have a different flavor. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not good. It's 5 out of 10. It's not something I would choose to buy.
One of the best off-brands to test is, Boomy, you cannot have these, is Cheetos. So these are the HEB brand Cheetos. It just says giant puffs down the side, and it says it is intense cheese flavor. So Cheetos are actually one of the easier things to imitate. And there's a number of off-brand Cheetos that I find that taste good, so I have high expectations for HEB on this one. Oh yeah, these are, when I'm done with these, I'm gonna be a gamer for sure. These are exactly what you want in a Cheeto. They're out like little orange fingers, so they don't get your fingers all dusty. They're not stale, they have a good consistency. That's pretty much a Cheeto. Oh, what? The Boomy want Cheeto? Gotta get it, buddy. Boomy says they're very good. These are very comparable to a lot of off-brand Cheetos. I don't know if the HEB brand of them is special or intensely cheesy. They're a pretty good alternative, and one of the things I should have mentioned earlier is the specialty here is if you buy the HEB brand, it's all bigger bags for less money than the name brand. And in some cases, like this one, it's just as good a quality, really. I could eat these instead of Cheetos pretty much any day. I give this a 9 out of 10. These should be your favorite because
it's hard to mess up cheese puffs. If you mess up cheese puffs, you need to get out of the chip business. Like, they are very simple to do.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, if you put these in a Cheetos bag, I wouldn't be able to discern the difference. They're exactly what you would expect. Good. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10, I think that's what I rated them too. I think these were by far the best imitations so far. Well, I kind of like the Doritos a little bit, but these are the best. We almost burned out on salty snacks, so I decided to take a break and transition over to reviewing some of the HEB cookies we got, starting with the very basic, oh hey Boomy, you want some of these? These are basically the HEB brand Ritz crackers, which are a little sweet, mostly salty, and then we're gonna jump into the Oreos. So let's go ahead and open these guys up, huh? Man, you just really wanna be in this video, don't you? And I pulled the tab from the wrong side. There we go. Okay, it comes right out of the bag, looking a lot like a basic Ritz cracker. Nothing special about that. Open them up. Give them a little smell. It smells like a Ritz. It is very small though, as you can see. It seems like the flour they use is a little bit lighter, a little bit whiter than a Ritz, which is usually a little bit more wheaty or cheese infused. That's a Ritz peanut butter cracker. That's all I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, is the off-brand of that. And it is exactly the off-brand of that. I don't quite know how to rate this. I'm not the biggest fan of Ritz crackers. So personally, like a flavor profile, I'd give it about a 6 out of 10. But if you're looking for a Ritz imitation, well then it's probably about a 10 out of 10. So we've had J-Hub's opinion about a lot of these HEB brand products, but I thought I would bring in a third opinion, and it just so happens that the Drifter Community Discord moderator, Delta Change, is visiting this weekend. Shout out to the Discord community. You can find links down there below. And Delta Change is gonna be offering his thoughts on all these HEB products.
Hello, I'm Delta Change. I am a moderator for Drifter's Discord community. If you want to interact with people that are like-minded Drifter fans, check out the links below. And I get to give the second opinion on these wonderful looking cookies that are supposed to be Ritz peanut butter. The bag is nicely packaged, at least. They're quite pale compared to what Ritz are supposed to be. They smell like fake peanut butter, just like Ritz does. I don't normally like Ritz peanut butter crackers. These are a little bit sweeter. So if you like sweet fake peanut butter, this is the place to go. Overall, if you want something that's close to Ritz, I'd say this is an 8 out of 10. Personally, I'm not a huge peanut butter guy. Give it a 5 out of 10, which is a pretty solid score still.
These HEB Twisters may look familiar because they're basically Oreos, or I think Hydrox was the original Oreo. So technically Oreos is the knockoff, and this is the HEB brand Oreos, just called Twisters. And let's get a glorious cookie unboxing. Wah, wah. Oh wow, it's slipping. Oh, there we go. The good thing about this is for the same price as Oreos, you basically get almost twice as much. So I'm gonna pull some of these guys out and we're gonna take them apart, if I can get a grip on them, and see what they are made of. You can't have Oreos or you will die. Yeah, these are more dangerous to you than bullets. They smell mostly like Oreos, a little bit sweeter. It's clearly not the same formulation. The cookies here, they don't stick quite as stickily as Oreos. They come apart pretty easily. You see it doesn't peel much chocolate back. And now let's do a taste test. These might kill me too. I'm not even gonna do the end milk test. These are not Oreos. Sorry, HEB, I know that everybody in Texas loves you. These are weird. I taste something very, very overtly artificial in here, and this is coming from a guy who likes Oreo flavor artificial nonsense. Something is off about these. I am not going to recommend them. I'm gonna give these about a 2 out of 10. I would never buy these for myself.
Now I get the joy of eating the cookies that I just watched Drifter thoroughly not enjoy. I'm very excited. I feel like they used a little bit too much fake vanilla in the cookie. Mm-mm. 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 We'll try a little bit of the frosting to see if it helps. Somehow the frosting made it worse. If you're broke and can afford literally nothing else, I still wouldn't buy these cookies. These are gonna get a 0 out of 10.
So this next review is the one that I am the most excited about. We saw these in the Chips Ahoy knockoff section, and they had all the like chunky Chips Ahoy and crispy Chips Ahoy HEB brands. And then they had this totally different thing called the Cowboy Cookie, and the whole store is cowboy themed. I took a look at this. It's pecans, oats, and chocolate. These are all 3 flavors that I love in my cookie. To the best of my knowledge, there is not an equivalent Chips Ahoy brand of this, and I'm hoping the HEB brand is really good. Let's get an opening. Give unto me your sugar. Oh, these are looking exactly like the way I want them to look. I'm gonna pull one out. Yeah, this is like a chocolatey, pecan-filled kind of oatmeal cookie. You can see on the bottom where it's been baked, that's pretty normal, but this is what I'm looking for, and it's kind of hard, and I mean that in a good way. You kind of want these to be a little crunchier. I almost smell some coconut. What is that? Probably the oats. It's probably the oat flavoring, so I'm gonna take a bite. That's a cookie. It's actually a pretty good cookie. Mmm. Mmm. Mm-hmm. They're a little bit on the drier side. That's the nature of oat cookies and stored box cookies, that it takes so long. You know, you have to have on the shelf for a long time. But I think the flavor, the texture, and pretty much everything about the Cowboy Cookie is fantastic. I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10.
And our final cookie for the day that I'm hoping is much better than the last one to wash that taste out of is these Cowboy Cookies. Very nicely packaged. We'll give one a try. That at least smells decent. Ooh, they're crumbly, so hopefully you like crispy cookies. Those are significantly better. I would actually recommend you get these. I don't know what they're supposed to be compared to, but these are a darn good cookie. I would say 8 out of 10.
After a cookie break, we're now moving back to chips, and I thought I would start off with a type of chip you can't eat by itself. This is a basic party size round corn chip. This is just chips for queso and dipping, very basic, standard, straightforward stuff. Very hard to mess up. Let's see how the HEB off-brand holds up, and we do have some fresh queso here good to go, because that is the only reasonable way to test this, I think. So we'll open it up. That was pretty easy. Like most of the HEB products, they come out looking the way they're supposed to look. These are round corn chips, corn tortillas. So I'm gonna eat one regular. That was very bland, what you expect. And this one we are going to slather in queso. And hopefully the queso accentuates the chip and HEB comes out strong. Okay. It's a perfectly serviceable corn chip. Nothing special flavor or taste-wise. Perfect 5 out of 10. It's really cheap though, but it's just a corn chip.
I guess it's my turn to play with the chips and dip.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to heat this dip up a little bit more. Yeah, it's your standard corn chip. Basically meant for shoving other stuff in your mouth. 4 out of 10. Needs more salt.
Next up is the HEB brand Ruffles knockoff. I think these are just Ridge's original. So these are just supposed to be Ruffles potato chips. Like most of the HEB stuff, pretty big bag. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what it's like. They smell like Ruffles. Boomy, do you want a Ruffle? He's so gentle. They smell a little bit, they're different than Ruffles. They don't seem quite as wet or oily in my hands. They don't taste quite as wet or oily. They have the same type of spices, the simple salt kind of seasoning thing going on. I have no idea how well this is going to show on camera, but it's very similar to a Ruffle, except it's just not quite as oily and greasy. Ruffles are super greasy. So if that was a problem with you for those chips, like those commercials in the 90s where people would just wipe them all over their shirt for some reason, sure. For me, I think I actually prefer the oil a little bit. It makes a softer chip. Yeah. It's alright though. I still give them about a 7 out of 10.
I don't like Ridge chips, to be honest, truth be told. They're just, I feel like the bottom barrel lazy. So, yeah.
Well, at the very least, how do they compare to other Ridge chips?
They taste like almost the exact same to me. And they do have a bit of oil. I don't think you shoved your hand deep enough in there. But
Really?
It does feel like there's a bit of oil on these.
Okay.
But this is like when you go to a sandwich shop and they're trying to save money. They're 4 out of 10.
These guys are Ridge potato chips barbecue flavored. And I really thought I would get these because one of the things that HEB specializes in is barbecued meat. You are very excited. Barbecued meat. And they even have a whole barbecue restaurant in the grocery store. So I thought, well, why not try their barbecue chips? Surely that's a Texas flavor that they can nail, right? These smell very strongly of artificial barbecue flavor. Like all the HEB products, the chips come out nice, whole. They're looking fresh and good. Like the other Ruffles, these aren't particularly oily. They seem like a drier kind of chip. I don't like this barbecue smell, but let's see how it tastes. No, this is like a 3 out of 10 range. I'm not a fan of barbecue chips in general, so I have some bias against this. But these, for me, this is the kind of food I would eat if there was literally nothing else. And if it got much worse, I would just be hungry. So I'm going to give this about a 3 out of 10.
And now we have Ridge barbecue. Trying to step up our game of flavor, I suppose. You can smell it. Has the smell of fakeness in it. You know, I actually kind of like those.
What?
I actually kind of like it. Well, nope. Bad aftertaste. The original taste is good. The aftertaste sucks. And because you have to linger with it after you eat it, 3 out of 10.
It's the fake smoke.
It's fake. 3 out of 10.
It's an acquired taste, but some people like kettle cooked potato chips. So I figured I'd get the HEB brand kettle cooked potato chips, and I think these are the basic salt and vinegar version. It's one of the most standard type of potato chip flavors that you can experience as a potato chip eater. And the packaging is fancy. This costs a little bit more than the others, so my expectations are set high. Okay, what do's we have here? Same thing again, huge chips. They come out in great condition. They're, well, again, not as oily as most. I think they make these with a slightly less oil to make them like crispier. They smell good. These taste great. These are fantastic. So, this is exactly what you want in a salt and vinegar chip. The salt and vinegar are perfectly balanced between the salty and the sort of vinegary acid that almost becomes a sweet, and then salty again. It's got the right hey buddy, you're distracting me. The right texture, the right kind of crunch. I'm gonna give these guys a 10 out of 10. These actually might be the best HEB potato chips I've eaten so far.
Now we got the salt and vinegar. It's kind of hard to mess these up, but you do have one of two options. Either not enough, and it's just mainly chip, or too much, and you're not tasting anything for 3 days, so. Ow! That was a hard chip. I just cut the roof of my mouth. Flavor gets a 6 out of 10. My hurt mouth gets a 2 out of 10.
And in another episode of We All Drift Further Away from God, I am forced to review thin potato chips. You know, the diet kind. Because apparently people buy and eat a lot of those. It's HEB brand again. These are just sort of the skinny Lay's knockoff. The bag is gigantic and inexpensive. And I'm not expecting as good a flavor on these because they're diet compared to the others. So I'm going to give my rating with it in mind that it's diet, okay? Oh, that one just like blew potato chip wind in my face. Yep, like all the HEB chips again, comes out perfect, whole, crisp, looking good. Once again, just like the others, I'm not feeling a lot of oil on my hands. Probably keeps it crisp. Doesn't have a very strong smell to it. It is diet. It's pretty rough. I'm not a fan of like low-fat foods. You can really taste the low fat. There's a certain kind of like weird moisture that's missing when I chew. It turns into like a powdery powder that saps my moisture. I don't know what to rate it because I want to compare it to other diet chips. I just don't eat many diet chips. Compared to a regular chip, this is about another 3 out of 10. I might call it a 5 out of 10 basic diet potato chip. These are okay. They're probably really good value. I'm never gonna spend my money on these.
Okay, so now we have thin chips, i.e. the chips titled that way when you eat the whole bag you don't feel as bad. They're just still a whole bag of bad for you.
You're being ableist and fat phobic.
This chip is being flavor phobic. This sucks. This is definitely a 1 out of 10. That's bad. If you could have negative flavor, that's those chips. I think it sapped the flavor off my tongue of all the other crap.
Last but not least is another thin brand of potato chip from HEB. These are essentially their version of the skinny Lay's sour cream and onion flavor. The last diet ones were a little bit less than fantastic, so I'm not super excited. Okay, we've had some real unpleasant surprises, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump in and see what this one's about. Dude, the one thing I will say about this company is every single time, perfect chips on top, really all the way down. The chips that they make are some of the most consistent I've ever seen in terms of size and rigidity. This one smells better than the other thin ones. That's a market improvement. It's a thin potato chip, so again, not quite as moist, not quite as fatty. Sucks a little bit of the moisture out of your mouth, a little bit powdery. You can tell they cut some of those really delicious ingredients, but we got a lot of onion flavor, and we got just enough sour cream flavor to balance it out. So if somebody served me these on a platter, I would think that they were just normal sour cream and onion chips. I might not know that they're diet. I probably wouldn't know that. I actually might know that they're off-brand. They have a slightly different feel on my fingers than Lay's, but these are pretty good. If I was gonna eat a diet chip, I would definitely rather eat these. I'm gonna rate these much higher at about 7 out of 10 for a diet chip.
All right, sour cream and onion thin chips for when you want to lie to yourself that you're dieting, but still have some flavor in it. Flavor's good, need a thicker chip. So, being a thin chip is what's actually hurting this. 5 out of 10.
All right, guys. Well, that was our increasingly chaotic review of HEB. I wanted to say thank you to J-Hub for filming and driving and helping me shop. Delta Change for showing up and providing some comedy stylings. And I wanted to ask some questions. So we'll start with J-Hub. What was your favorite of all the things that you ate?
The cookies, the Cowboy Cookie.
Least favorite?
The Twister cookies.
What was your favorite?
I didn't do a review on camera, but I really enjoyed the salt and vinegar chips the best. And the Twisters are by far the worst.
Okay. For me, I enjoyed the, oh my God, the mountain of chips is collapsing. I enjoyed the Cowboy Cookies the best. And the next best thing, different category, the salt and vinegar chips were really good. My least favorite is honestly probably the HEB Twisters, their version of Oreos. These guys were kind of gross. And my impression of the HEB brand is they probably are really well known. You'll notice that all of these bags are bigger. These bags are bigger and they cost less. But the quality is sometimes just as good, sometimes not. Like normally with an off-brand, you want it to be really close to the original. Some of these do a really good job of that. Some of them fail miserably. So I feel like with HEB, if you took the time to shop there and buy a bunch of different things and see what it was kind of like, you might be able to make a list, long or short, of perfectly acceptable HEB substitutes that are better, but there's some trial and error for that. So Delta, what do you think of this brand?
I think overall, it's a good budget brand that does pretty well. There are definitely parts of it that fall quite flat.
J-Hub, what do you think of this brand?
It ain't worth buying. I'd go to Dollar General over this. I'm just saying, I've had better from there.
Why did I expect anything different? All right, guys, that's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. This is a brand new thing that we did to prototype here. I say prototype, but it was really just with almost no planning or foresight. We just decided to do something. So if you enjoyed this kind of content, let me know. And don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.